Hi, Tracey. It's lovely to speak to you today. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me, Charlotte.
Well, Tracey, we'd love to hear the story of how you have come to know Jesus personally, because I think I'm right in saying that you haven't always been a Christian. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right, Charlotte. I haven't always been a Christian. I wasn't brought up in a Christian home, but we could go to Sunday school. We were allowed. It wasn't stopped. We lived in a very small area, so we were quite free as children. So, yeah, I'd go along and, I'd hear about God and about Jesus, but I never had a relationship with them. I didn't understand that.
Okay. And then as you came into your teenage years and your 20s, how did things change?
Yeah, they did change a lot. I became involved in the occult, which, going to psychic fairs, mediums, trying to talk to the dead, trying to find out about the future, my future. Um, yeah, so I had really turned my back on God.
Okay. And then what happened to change that?
Yeah, I was about 35 and I was in a really hard place. It was really tough. Um, and I was searching for answers within the occult, but it wasn't helpful. It really was very oppressive and was part of the problem, I think. Um, and then through my sister, she gave me a number for a beautician, and I went along just to have my eyebrows done. And while doing that, I asked her what her star sign was. And she said that she didn't really believe those things, but what she did believe was that she was a sinner and that Jesus had died for her and that he loved her. And that just was like, whoa, I'd never heard anybody say anything like that before. And then she invited me to an event that her church is putting on. And that same week, I decided to go to church with her. And it was while singing a song that Jesus just sets you free. I knew I was a sinner and I knew that I needed saving. I knew I'd turned my back on God completely. And at that moment, I knew that Jesus died for me. And I just felt like the slate had been wiped clean, that I was forgiven, that I'd ignored God all of my life, I would say, even though I was aware of him. So, yeah, and that is where my relationship began with God and Jesus. Yeah.
Okay, so that was quite early on, having met this beautician. After that, how did your understanding grow?
Yeah, it was through Little Lions. I was asked if I wanted to do a Christianity Explained course, which I jumped at the chance. And through that, I learned lots of things, really wonderful truths about the Bible. And I think the one thing that stood out the most was that I didn't need to do anything, and it wasn't a list of rules that I had to tick, or that would be my good works that got me to heaven. Actually, it was all done by Jesus, and I just needed to receive his forgiveness.
And what did it feel like after you became a Christian?
Yeah, I felt alive for the first time in my life. I'd never felt like that before. The world was just new. I looked at it in a different way. I knew everything from the past had been forgiven and wiped away, and I had a brand new start. And I knew my purpose, which I was searching for in other things, into the occult, but there was no purpose there at all. And I knew that purpose was just to tell everybody what I had experienced and that I had been forgiven and how wonderful it was. Unfortunately, my family and friends thought I'd gone mad because it wasn't like me, but I knew it was real. I knew, and I had to tell everybody.
Thank you so much, Tracey, for sharing all of that with us.